today's question is going to be about merging two sorted lists together. So let's get at it. Let me read the question to you guys. The question is named merge two sorted lists. It's an easy question. It's actually asked by in a lot of interviews for software developers in companies such as Amazon, etc. Just the name Amazon alone should be good enough. You guys need to know how to do this. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you guys how to do it step by step. The question says, merge two linked lists and return it as a new list. Linked list is a whole topic on its own. I'm going to show you guys what a singly linked list is and a doubly linked list is in a new video. But for now, let's just get on with the question. So the question says, merge two sorted linked lists and return it as a new list. The new list should be made by splicing together the nodes of the first two lists. All they mean by splicing is if you have list 1 and if you have list 2, all they're asking you to really do is take the first element of list 1, take this first element of list 2, and then compare those two elements together. Whichever one is smaller, you make that the start of your new list, and then the same way you would go about doing it for all the elements in both the lists, and then combine all those elements together, basically joining them, and eventually you're going to have a new list, linked list, which is sorted. Let's get on with the actual coding part. So let's make an initial list called answers. There you go. So now this initial linked list is used for connecting all our answers to. We need a head pointer to this answers linked list as well. So I'm going to make a head and I'm going to point it to my answers, because this is basically the node we're going to call to print out all of the other nodes in our linked list. So we're going to loop through both our lists, and as long as none of our lists is empty, we would just keep looping through them and comparing each element from each list and checking which one's smaller. Whichever one is smaller, we would add that to our answers linked list. So let's go ahead and do that. Here's where I'm actually going to compare the values in L1 and L2, and whichever value is smaller, I'm going to append that to, I'm going to add that as the next value in my answers. Once I check it and I find out that L1's value is smaller than L2's value, I append L1's value as the next node in my answers linked list, and then I'm going to increment the pointer from the current L1 node to the next L1 node. If that's not the case, if that if statement doesn't satisfy our case, that means that L2's value is actually smaller than L1's value. If that is the case, we take L2's value and make it our answers linked list next node. So once the first conditional if and else statement has actually gone through, we actually have to move forward in our answers linked list itself. And that's it. So at some point while we're looping through this while loop is going to break, because either L1 or L2 is going to become none, because it's going to end the entire list. So if either of them ever end up becoming null, it's going to break that loop, and we need to do something with the values in the list that isn't null. All we would have to do is take the values in the list that isn't null and then append it to our answers linked list. And now, since we're done with all of that, let's go ahead and try to run it. Actually, no, before that, we actually have to put in the most important thing, which is the return statement. So if you remember in the beginning up here, we actually have a head which points to our answers linked list, and we need to use that pointer to actually print out our entire answers linked list. Okay guys, so I need to fix up a quick mistake I made. This linked list right here is called a list node. And I also called this variable answers. It should be answer. And then I also made this. So you see how L1 equals L1.next? I made this needs to be L2 equals L2.next. If I was to submit it, aha, there you go. It's done. We're good. So hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you guys like this, if this is helpful, give me a like, share and subscribe. I don't know what I'm saying. Give me a like, share, and subscribe. Peace.